Hi guys, Harbs and Narbs here. Today we'll be talking about whether the 9 layers of hell, or more specifically Avernus, will have much to do with the plot of Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, let's go. In one of Larian's press releases we can see the following. You are burdened with a great power devouring you from within. How far down the path of darkness will you let it take you? The fate of the Forgotten Realms is on your party's shoulders. Will you carry it to salvation or descend with it to hell? Now there's no reason to think that this is anything other than figurative speech for letting the realms fall into chaos. After all, we usually use the word hell in a non-literal sense. However, in the Forgotten Realms it is quite literal, and Baldur's Gate 3 is not only a sequel to the original saga but also to the adventure Descent into Avernus. Descent into Avernus tells the story of Elturel, which was literally dragged into the first layer of hell, Avernus, after the High Overseer of the city, Thavius Krieg, made an insidious contract with Zariel for power and protection of the city 50 years prior. The canonical ending to this can be seen in the comic book Infernal Tides, where the city is saved after the aforementioned contract is destroyed. Sven Vinke has already said the following in an interview with PC Games N, that the writer of Descent into Avernus came to Ghent for a while to work with the Baldur's Gate 3 team, and that they worked closely with him whilst he was working on the D&D adventure. We can see plenty of references already to Descent into Avernus within Baldur's Gate 3. The Tiefling refugees have fled from Elturel. Ravengard has also gone missing, very likely on his way back from Elturel. The plot of the game looks to be focusing on the Dead 3 being the main villains, primarily because Larian have literally told us that it's their complot, but also because everyone in the Absolute is wearing their symbol. However, we still don't know the exact details of what their plot is, and it's worth considering that it might involve the Hells, or at least just the first layer. We've already been to Avernus in the Nautiloid. There are devils in Grimforge, with one of the Dwergar there talking about something huge having possibly rampaged through. Astarian's master has carved an infernal poem on his back. Will's patron is a devil, and the artifact is Githyanki in origin, with some theories offering up the idea that it is Gith herself who was last seen venturing into hell. Descent into Avernus makes mention of Baldur's Gate potentially suffering the same misfortune as Elturel. In fact, one of the endings where the players end up working for Zariel states that they could be suited for preparing Baldur's Gate for the same fate. If we continue on in this press release, you'll notice that it says in reference to the cult, its shadowy network is chipping away at the Forgotten Realms foundations. Baldur's Gate itself will be the first to fall. Again, figurative speech, or are Larian hinting at something more literal? I mean, they do call all of their panels Panel from Hell. Now, the logo of Baldur's Gate 3 has always interested me somewhat. After all, the logos of Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2 and Throne of Baal had meaning behind them. This was the symbol of Baal. This, from Shadows of Arm, is quite possibly a take on yin and yang, with the top elf being Elasim, and this one has the symbol of Baal being clutched by a Melisyn. The Baldur's Gate 3 logo looks as if it's sort of an undead mind flayer, and with its red eyes it gives me that impression even more. Of course, having bony tentacles doesn't really make much sense. This image here, as seen in Wizard's Savage Species gallery, is an actual mind flayer skull, but a mind flayer without tentacles doesn't have quite the same effect. Now what's curious is that when you take away the text, these actually appear to be horns. I often thought they were part of what the mind flayer might be wearing, but no, they look pretty solidly attached. With illithid tadpoles now being more creative than they were in the past, with more and more races able to be ceremorphed, what was this creature? Is all this talk of hell a part of the illithid plan? Ceremorphing the devils themselves would certainly be an interesting turn of events and potentially give whoever is behind the cult access to souls like never before. The logos 3 are similarly shaped to the huge fortresses that cover the plains of Avernus. Here the 3 is ominously seen as imps pour out of them towards the Nautiloid. It definitely feels like there is going to be more to hell in Baldur's Gate 3, and I personally can't wait to find out what it will be. In 2019, Christopher Perkins did say it wasn't possible to ceremorph fiends and celestials, which goes completely against this theory of the devils themselves being targeted. But with the special Netherese magic surrounding the tadpoles, Raphael's deep interest in the player's condition, and the overall connection to Descent, I'm willing to bet that there is a lot more to the story that we aren't yet aware of. Okay, thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed this video then do please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!